And that is the sound of me burning through my life savings. Super 8. Super 8 is back, and in a big way. Kodak is officially releasing their Super 8 camera extraordinaire. And I got some beef. Okay, for the most part, I'm going to try to make this a positive spin, because overall I do think it is positive news. But there is the caveat of, I've been waiting for this camera to come out for like 7 years now. And I'm not like fooling. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm not trying to be trendy or hip. Or I'm like, oh, I've known about this camera for such a long time, longer than you have. But like, I've like legit, this is one thing that I've been legitimately waiting for. I've talked about it in past videos. I was like, still waiting for that Super 8 camera to come out. Still waiting for that Super 8 camera to come out. Because I have been waiting. Because I was like super stoked about it. Little young Alex, baby Alex, was like, oh man, I can't wait to shoot on like an actually good Super 8 camera that's probably not going to completely bankrupt me, unlike shooting the Super 8 film itself will. But like, I wanted to like it so bad. And it just kept not coming out. And then every time Kodak would release like some plastic thing, I'd be like, what are we doing here? And it just hurt me that much more. And I understand that a lot of money has to go into developing these products. I get it, but also it still sucked. Okay, as somebody who likes shooting film and apparently just hates having money in my bank account, I wanted this to be a good thing, and it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. However, it looks like it's finally happening due to articles that have come out. Kodak itself has come out and been like, oh, we'll take pre-orders now and all of this stuff. And back in like 2016-ish when it was announced, it looked like it was going to be like a $500 to $700-ish camera. And I was like, hey, that's kind of steep, but you know, it'd be kind of worth it because there's a lot of positive things about it. So I was like, yeah, I'd probably try to pick one of those up. Now it's looking like it's about $2,500. And that's a lot. That's a lot. That is actually a lot, really. That's actually 5 times what it was like projected to be 7 years ago. And like, listen, I know inflation's been rough on just about everybody. Don't get me wrong, but like, it ain't been that rough. And it's been rough from a consumer perspective as well, because these things ain't getting that much cheaper. So the fear that I have, and it's not even like a really founded fear, but like, I just don't see this as being like a very viable solution to get a lot of amateurs interested in Super 8 film, because the threshold for entry is so stinking high. I mean, 2,500. Cobble that together real quick, and I guess that's your thing. That's your thing. But you also have to bear in mind that a cartridge of Super 8 film is roughly $35, $40, I think, somewhere in that market. And that's for 2.5 minutes of footage. So basically spend a little over $2,500 and get 2.5 minutes of footage. And that's not including the developing and the scanning costs that are also pretty exorbitant depending on where you go. It could be like $100 more. So that's always kind of an issue. But let's try to not spin it that way. I would like to try to be positive about this, because like I said, I do think overall this is a positive thing. This is Kodak making a commitment to the more professional side of the market and saying, look, I see that people are still wanting to shoot Super 8. Here's a great platform to do that in, because Super 8's a product that they sell almost exclusively. There's like, I don't think anyone else out there sells Super 8 film in the cartridge or anything. Maybe like Film Photography Project. I don't know. I've not looked into it too much. I have notes, but they're not that extensive. I apologize. So that's cool, I guess. But let's get into like the nitty gritty of the camera. It's a C-mount camera. C-mount lenses are pretty popular and affordable. Kind of bums me out because C-mounts were kind of like one of those sneaky, like inexpensive lenses that I was like kind of eyeing at getting like a decent kit for different cameras and stuff. But now I fear that the price of those are going to go up. So Oh well. But Seamount lenses, those are pretty good and kind of made for smaller cameras, specifically like 16 millimeter cameras. My Keystone A7 has a Seamount lens on it, so that's kind of more of your look there. It has also different grip variations. So you got like a top mounted grip with a start stop button, and then like a pistol grip, I believe, which also has a start stop button integrated. I think you can mount both of them at the same time, or one or the other, I believe, which that's kind of cool. I like that variation because something like this Elmo has like the little top handle, and I feel like if it had more gripping options, it would be a little bit easier and more fun to use, but also it's not really designed for that because it's like that big. So that's a Super 8 camera, by the way. This was $20, so yeah, take that with a grain of salt. There's micro USB charging, which is pretty outdated, and I think it kind of worries me a little bit because that kind of harkens back to that 2016 era where that wasn't as outdated. So I'm thinking that this product has just been shelved for 7 years and not really undergone significant changes in that time, but we'll digress from that point. There's micro SD card slot for audio with crystal sound sync, which is actually pretty huge, to be completely honest. Like that alone, I think is something that I would invest in, because there's been often times where like I've shot 16 millimeter films and the sound sync is, not awesome. And then also on top of that, you don't get it integrated with the film at all. So, it would be very convenient, is what I will say. There's also a 4-inch viewfinder, which for a Super 8 camera is kind of unique, but that will make it easy because that way you can do different movements and stuff, and you don't have to be looking through the viewfinder the whole time because you're able to move as you please. There's also potentially slots for external monitors using HDMI cables, which kind of lends itself to a more professional of sorts market, as you can kind of set up a little video village running out of this cheap little camera. Not cheap, little, but not cheap. There's also an extended film gate for an 11% larger image, which is actually pretty huge because Super 8 is really clunky to use, and with the frame size being the way it is, intercutting that into other things is very challenging. So with this 11% increase, you can get more of like a 16:9 aspect ratio, which means it can intercut with other footage more seamlessly than before. And you won't have to like crop in on an already small image, basically. So that's pretty neat. Overall, like I said, there's a lot of positives to take away from that, and I'm not trying to be like Debbie Downer here, like everything sucks, but I think the reality is that the camera is very expensive, and the format in what you'd be shooting is also very expensive, which means it's going to be a very limited market that can like use this, and I don't think it opens up as many doors and as much interest as Kodak would probably like. I could be very wrong. People are probably pretty stoked about it, but I mean, I'm stoked about it too, don't get me wrong, because I like Super 8, and I've been like for the last few weeks been like, oh, so-and-so's dropping a new plastic point and shoot. So-and-so's dropping a new plastic point and shoot. And got a comment, I believe, last week where someone's like, I would really like to see someone drop an actual camera. And I agree. Like, I completely agree. So here's this. Not the best, but it's better than another plastic point and shoot, I suppose. Moving on. This is more personal news, I suppose. But Cydio Crates, it's a company that apparently exists. I don't know much about it, but I just started looking into them like a little bit because they have like just these big storage crate things that seem to be pretty good. So I'm going to look into getting some of those and storing some of my gear, because currently, as you might know from the video, this video or that video, I think it's this video. I think this is where the thing pops up. I did it wrong one week and I felt like a fool, but I'm 90% sure it's over here. This video, I use Harbor Freight storage boxes, or tool crates or whatever they are to store old cameras and parts and stuff of that nature. And that's, it works, but I'd really like to try to design a better storage space. That way I'm not overcome with this unrelenting fear every time I look over at the nightmare closet, which is currently positioned right there, which means looking at the camera has been a very big challenge for the past 8 weeks, I guess. I think I've been doing this 8 weeks. Wow, look at that. So anyway, I think these storage crates will be cool when I get them in. I do plan on making a little video. They had a big sale for Black Friday, and just if you have a few cameras, or if you have a lot of gear to store, it could be a good solution for that. And as I'm kind of getting older and realizing that I can't just continue to live in squalor, I'm trying to find different ways to minimize the footprint of my obsession here, and I think that's probably going to be one of the avenues I take. I'm also looking into new tool storage solutions because the one I have right now is a bit of a mess, and overall my desk right now is just not great. But yeah, just looking to optimize things. So if you have any recommendations or any things you would like me to highlight, please comment them down below and I will get back to you on that. Moving on, also in business related news, I am going to be getting to emails this week. I have more of a better idea of my timeline, how it looks like with new job and life stuff, doing laundry and things of that nature, like taking care of myself and whatnot. So with that in mind, I should have more time to get back to people on emails, because I've been really bad about that lately. It's been not top of my to-do list as it should be, so hoping to course correct that a little bit and start helping more people out, because that's ultimately what I really like doing. And I found that making videos was being more helpful, and it was easier for me to do that than it was for me to go through emails. But that being said, when I advertise oh, reach out, and then I'm not really responsive, there's a bit of a disconnect there in the messaging that I would like to correct. So those are personal things. Also, last week I was oh, I've got videos planned all week, and I did. I had this whole list of stuff I was going to post all week. And then between doing some baking and then driving down for the holidays, working a lot, I just didn't have Wi-Fi, so I couldn't upload a video. Then I didn't have time to edit when I was spending time with family. So that all kind of got lost in the sauce. But I do have a series of more holiday themed videos because, Thanksgiving's behind us, December's coming up. There's a lot of gift giving holidays. And I want to start trending more towards that consumer advice, because I do have a lot of thoughts and opinions on that, because the film market is this ever evolving thing, which is interesting because as I said, it was stagnant for so long. So I'd like to start touching more on that and on the different elements that I can provide input on. I would like to. And in other news, I got the Kodak camera wrap and made a little video about that, just my initial thoughts on it. So I'm going to be posting that tomorrow, most likely. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them down below. Let me know. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And ultimately, I'm feeling more positive trajectory, more positive outlook on things. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me, and I hope you've been enjoying these videos and all my other videos. Be sure to like it if you did, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content, and yeah, catch you on the next one.